Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. So today is the 14th day of Ramadan. We're videotaping this episode after Maghrib time due to some logistical difficulties, uh, due to an invitation to an iftar. Jazakallahu khairan, the brother who invited all of us to this iftar. We spoke in the last episode about the concept of su'ul dhan, or the false or negative doubt. And we spoke about quite a bit of stuff, and we ended with an ayah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, يا أيها الذين آمنوا اجتنبوا كثيرا من الظن إن بعض الظن إثم ولا تجسسوا ولا يغتب بعضكم بعضا, to the end of the ayah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, O people you believe, avoid a lot of the dhan, or this false doubt. إن بعض الظن إثم, that indeed some of this dhan is ithm, and we elaborated on the word ithm. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, وَلَا تَجَسَّسُوا وَلَا يَغْتَبْ بَعْضُكُمْ بَعْضًا, that do not spy on each other and do not backbite each other. And these two acts are a result of taking the su'ul dhan to the next level, which is the action level, so taking it from the heart to the external world or the physical world, where we act upon the su'ul dhan. Now, what are some of the backdraws of su'ul dhan? There's a lot to them, but I want to mention two of them. The first one is that you cannot work with others in a well-mannered behavior. Why is that? That's because you don't trust others. You have the su'ul dhan of others, that you cannot work with them because you can't build that bond of trust between them. And the second part, why su'ul dhan, or what might su'ul dhan results in, is that yourself, you're always tense, you're feeling paranoid, you're feeling worried, because you think that someone is out there to get you, that this brother or that sister who did this and that did it because they want to harm you, they want to hurt you, they want to do evil. Now this is different from the first one, because the first one you're actually interacting with people. The second one you're not even interacting with people, you're just having these thoughts and this paranoia due to su'ul dhan with others. Now these two result in you being unhappy and unsatisfied, which is not a good situation to be in. Now, what might result in su'ul dhan? What is the cause of su'ul dhan? Again, this is arguable. There might be more reasons, but I'm going to mention two. The first reason is al-hasad, or envy, or negative jealousy. Now, an envy, when you envy someone, you wish that the ni'mah or the blessing that they have will be taken away from them. Not just that you want to have it, you want it to be taken away from the other people. Now, how did we get from su'ul dhan to hasad? Let me give you an example. Let's say, again, back to the halaqah example. You find a brother who's leading a halaqat, you find a sister who's leading halaqat, and then you come and you start having su'ul dhan about that brother or that sister. You'd be like, oh, this person is trying to show off, they're not trying to help the community, they're just there for selfish reasons and whatever. Let me give you another example. Let's say you find a brother who is reading Quran, and he's memorizing Quran, and he's improving his tajweed, and then you start having the su'ul dhan about him. He's like, oh, he's just memorizing to become an imam, he wants to take over the masjid, he wants to lead people, he wants to become the community head, and whatnot. Now, any person who would hear these inner thoughts, he would be like, dude, what's wrong with you? Are you jealous? Why are you having these thoughts to start with? Why don't you go and yourself and lead halaqat, prepare yourself, increase your knowledge, and go and memorize Quran and whatnot? Why are you just having these these scenarios about that brother or that sisters? Well, we find that might be due to the reason of envy, that we do not want this brother or that sister to have this khair, to have this blessing, to be doing this good act, and as a result of this envy, we have this su'ul dhan within us. The second reason that results in su'ul dhan is ضعف al-iman, or the weakness of iman. Now, how can we get from su'ul dhan, or from ضعف al-iman to su'ul dhan? How can ضعف al-iman result in su'ul dhan? That's because if you have full iman, or if you have the strong iman, you would be fully satisfied with whatever that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you. You would be feeling fully tranquil, fully relaxed to whatever that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decree. So you will not be expecting this evil from your brothers and sisters in Islam. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we spoke about this, spoke about nafs al-mutma'inna, the tranquil self, and this tranquil self is tranquil as a result of iman. So this tranquil self results in you being relaxed and fully satisfied. You're focused. So the more you find yourself unfocused, the more you find yourself tense, the more you know that your iman has decreased, and the more you know that you deviated from this nafs al-mutma'inna, or this tranquil self. And su'ul dhan will keep us tense and will keep us paranoid. So that means we did deviate from this, from being with full iman in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decree. Now, does this talk, all that what we talked about, mean that a Muslim is not witty or alert, that a person is not fatin, or a person with farasa, or the person with an inner eye, or the person with an inner vision, or a person who sees with both eyes? That means someone who sees beyond the surface. One brother came and asked me, and he said, what if the person you're dealing with did prove that he had a bad intention? For example, he repeatedly showed that bad intention in multiple situations. What is this? What can I do with this dhan? Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does tell us that in the ayah, inna ba'd al-dhanni ith, that indeed some of the dhan is evil, is a sin. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does mention that some. Why? Because some dhan is in its right place. It's not false doubt, it's based on evidence. And Rasulullah tells us that لا يلدغ المؤمن من جحر مرتين, that the believer does not fall in the same trap, if you allow me to translate this with a certain meaning, twice. So the mu'min does not fall in the same mistake, in the same trap twice. The mu'min is fatan. The mu'min is witty, is a person with this extra vision. But then at the same time, we do not want to fall into the su'ul dhan. Yes, some dhan is in its place, but at the same time we have to be very aware of whenever we have a dhan, is it based on evidence, or is it just based on whims and hasad and da'af iman? And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us from this people who have this nafs al-mutma'inna, or the tranquil self, in the day of judgment. And I wish you the best fasting, I wish you the best Ramadan. Wa jazakumullahu khair. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.